viene el Mac Rover.
Va, arrancamos.
3 segundos. 1.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers from
Hey,
Grinding
Wilson!
Games, and welcome to GGG Live. Today we're
Es
going
verdad,
to show you
Keicher
an
tiene razón,
exclusive
boludo.
reveal of Path
Qué
of
guachín.
Exile, Keepers of the Flame, which is coming out 1 week from now.
Tiene
on
razón,
October
Keicher,
the 31st.
mírenmela.
Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so you'll be able to claim your
Así miramos toda la misma vez.
Crawler pet by following the instructions below. Without further ado,
Get
let's
your
roll the
magicfind
trailer for
characters
Path of
ready.
Exile,
Gracias por la
Keepers of the
café.
Flame.
Come los huevos, podría haber suscrito otro día, otro momento. Opa,
We, the keepers
Eso
of
fue
the
dos.
flame, serve the will of the
eso fue
dreamer.
2.
His instructions whispered from beyond the wall of sleep.
Skip.
But now, the Hiveborn are here, on Rayclast. and they
No, los
seek
Torres.
to
Qué
poison
rica.
our world.
No.
Me mato.
No, la brecha es nueva. Nah. Brecha 2.0, boludo. Dijo nunca nadie. ¿Qué es esta, wey?
We must close their breaches, destroy their hives, slay their breach lords.
Ah, vuelve Ciclón.
¿Viste? Ahora falta como estrenar también.
And by his gifts,
No. Esto es PoE 2, boludo.
¿Qué es esto?
they
No.
brought this war
¿Qué es ese
to our
árbol?
world.
No.
Es el árbol del Diablo 4.
Es el árbol de PoE 2, boludo.
Whatever it takes.
¿Opa?
Keepers of the Flame.
El Genesis Tree, bro.
Cúrrense.
No. Ah, le pones una currency ahí y te da más currency, como en el Last tipo, boludo.
Mirá, boludo.
New skills.
Los slots del inventario son las manitos.
¿Qué era eso?
Nuevas clases.
Los en clase.
Bien. La Synchronous Trade.
Listo, esto fue toda la liga, muchachos, se acabó.
Sí, o sea.
¿Y dónde está lo nuevo?
Claro.
Listo,
Esto ya lo jugué.
Acá está el anuncio.
Yo lo jugué en PoE 2 esto, boludo. ¿Qué onda?
As you can see, this expansion is a true sequel to the Breach League, first introduced to the game in 2016. We felt like it was time to progress the story of Breach, bringing with it a slew of new updates to the base game. In today's stream, we'll take you on a deep dive
Diablo
into
Online
Keepers of the
Ascendancies.
Flame, beginning with the league mechanic, covering all the fearsome challenges it presents, and the new twisted ways you'll be able to empower your character. After that, we'll dive into the new ascendancy options possible with Bloodline classes.
Sí,
Then we'll cover the much anticipated and synchronous trade system coming to Path of Exile 1.
sí.
Afterwards, move into the new Uber Pinnacle bosses, how to access them,
Bueno,
and some new
Ubers.
drops worthy of the
3 Uber.
difficulty.
Los voy a ver por
Finally,
video.
some
Pues.
notable quality of life improvements before moving on to our supporter packs. and
Voy a
challenge
pagar la
rewards.
keys.
We'll then have a live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask Path of Exile's game directors Mark
Opa?
and myself your questions from Twitch chat. And after the live stream, we'll drop the full patch notes.
Después del stream las patch notes.
So let's get started. I'll hand things over to Mark to introduce the new league.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile. Breach is a beloved league that has had an iconic history in PoE. We intend to honor that legacy with our first ever sequel league, Keepers of the Flame. This develops every
La
aspect
primera
of Breach,
secuela.
adding new layers to discover, richer lore, scarier bosses, and entirely new mechanics.
Opa.
That said, this is still Breach, so you will still be opening breaches and slaying hordes of otherworldly monsters. The Breach Lords have found the means to stabilize the connection between their realm and Rayclast. Now, with their grip tightening, we learn their true goal in our world,
Ajá.
conquest. The threat they pose has now escalated to home soil. On the coast in Act 1, you'll encounter Aelith,
La
the
costa.
founder of the Keepers of the Flame. This is a monastic order sworn to defend Rayclast from the Breach Lords. The exit to the Mudflats has been barricaded by Hiveborn, breach monsters that are working to claim every inch of Rayclast. Aelith can grant you a small spark of the power of the Flame, allowing you to blast away their barricade and move onwards. Once you enter the mudflats, you'll find it infested with breach monsters. They appear to be constructing a kind of hive, creating strange shapes and structures that absolutely don't belong. Time to purge them with fire. Aelith needs you to protect her as she empowers the flame to do so. Hold off the assault long enough, and she'll be able to demolish the hive with cleansing flame.
Opa,
In other
Boom
areas,
gifts.
the gap between worlds is strained.
¿Quién se fue?
Here, you'll find a more familiar encounter with a new twist. A massive breach hand sunders the space between dimensions, and touching it will open an unstable breach,
Esto es lo que
causing
sabemos.
monsters to flood in.
Son dos tipos.
If you can
entonces.
slaughter them quickly
Sí.
enough, you can stabilize the breach.
Blade Vortex, bro.
This brazen action can draw the attention of Vroon, Marshal of Zesht, who will do everything it can to stop you. Defeating this boss will permanently seal the breach,
Estás jugando Blade
severing
Vortex
another
Poison,
connection
nos
between
anda
the
a cagar,
Breach Lord's
boludo.
world and Rayclast. These stabilized breaches are similar to what a breach once was, but with upgraded monsters, a success condition to shoot for, UI tracking to keep the player informed of their progress through the encounter, and satisfying feedback when you do manage to complete the encounter.
De Brum, ¿qué me es esa mierda?
We've taken all the lessons we've learned since the release of Breach 9 years ago and improved
Ole,
upon it in
Fisto.
every way we can. However, much of the joy of Breach came from its simplicity. While we want to modernize the mechanic, we don't want to undermine the core experience. You're still
Ya tiene
mostly
Reapers.
just slaughtering hordes of enemies in a circle. Finally, in endgame areas you might run into breach constructions that have been left unopposed for too long and have grown into their full twisted glory. Breach
Wow.
hives.
Los hives, mira.
Towering flesh-crafted cities in the sky. These are the visions of the Breach Lords made real in Rayclast.
¿Y cuál es la diferencia entre esto y Abby? Puedo.
Breach monsters. You
Ninguna.
must raid and destroy these cities with the help of Aelith and her flame.
Es literalmente la de puedo.
In some of these hives, you may even encounter some of the Breach Lords themselves, who will not be happy you're intruding on their planned conquest.
No, qué país bananero, man.
Now, let's talk loot.
Justo te desconectaste y vino Messi.
Being an exile is hard work, and you're unlikely to help entirely out of the goodness of your heart. Fortunately, Aelith has power and rewards aplenty, born of the Breach Realm itself, to offer you for your assistance.
Le cago en día, en 100%.
Help her,
No la
and
mostramos.
she'll bring you to the Monastery of the Keepers, the hallowed halls of her order. Here, you'll find the Genesis Tree, the growing heart of the Keeper's power. On
Claro.
interacting with it, you'll find that this tree has a tree. That's right. It couldn't be Path of Exile unless the tree also had a tree. More importantly, the Genesis tree is an engine of unholy creation, and a profitable one. As you complete breach encounters and work more with Aelith, you'll be able to grow the Genesis tree larger and larger, sprouting additional limbs. Each of these limbs, you'll notice, has their own inventories. These can be used for an unusual method of crafting
¿Volvió?
new items.
Craft.
With this system, you'll be able to grow currency, uniques, equipment, and a new kind of
No
otherworldly
tiene
item.
pinta de algo que vaya a
Grafts.
core eso, boludo.
Grafts are breach hands grown directly from the Genesis tree, born of the same flesh and sinew as the invading monsters. These fuse directly to your body, in a completely safe process. Don't worry about it. With grafts, you can harness the power of the breach. Some provide passive benefits like this,
Opa,
or this,
opa,
Opa.
but they can also grant a wide selection of powerful skills.
opa.
These graft skills can provide a flexible way to fill gaps in your build, offering everything from damage to potent defensive
De los
buffs.
mercenarios de la liga pasada quedaron los brazos nomás.
For example, the battering all graft will call
What the
massive
fuck?
arms to erupt from the earth.
¿Qué carajo?
Oh, potente, ¿no?
For some additional pack clearing power, you could consider the squalling
¿Esos son
tool
los
graft.
skills?
When
Sí,
commanded, this graft will cast
¿Qué son
dancing
esos números?
creating a deadly ice tornado, which aggressively seeks enemies and fires off bursts of ricocheting projectiles when you critically strike with skills. For some further utility and a useful buff, try out the Storming Esh Graft. This can be commanded to call down a ring of bolts from the sky, that will leave behind the new Radiant Ground.
The fuck?
Radiant Ground grants a potent damage buff to allies
Damage to
standing
be
within it
lucky.
and
Ah,
makes
ya.
their hit damage lucky. If you're simply after raw damage, look no further than the erupting Zothgraft, which causes massive eruptions of fire where you command, which then re-erupt when you Warcry. There are a total of 16 different graft types you can grow, each with their own skill.
Una locura.
You can even unlock a second graft slot as you progress through Aelith's questline, so feel free to mix and match Flesh Zone horrors to your heart's content.
The fuck?
Now, grafts aren't just here to make you stronger, they are also your means of feeding the Genesis tree, which needs constant supplies of graft blood to grow anything useful. You can do this by defeating breach monsters, which will leave behind blood that your graft will automatically collect. When you feed this blood to the tree, your allocated passives will be put to work. This section of the Genesis tree can be used to grow new grafts for you, which the Genesis tree will then birth in a gruesome display.
Bien.
Basic passives on the tree might increase item rarity of birthed grafts, or the chance to birth additional grafts.
¿Qué carajo?
O sea, es
These
un gamba
passives
del
can
gamba,
target
hijos de
specific types
puta.
of grafts,
¿Qué carajo?
and this passive causes grafts to be birthed with a random amount of quality.
No, Abel, todavía no.
Improves the
Estoy
amount of
traduciendo.
blood that can be stored by your grafts.
Todavía no he tomado nada para hablar en
This
inglés.
section of the Genesis tree births currency items. Basic passives can result in more or better currency.
Esto es una falopa, boludo. Un casino dentro del juego que es un casino.
To burst forth from the flesh of the tree. Yeah, it's a bit gross, but
Traducción
working
para
with the
eso.
organic matter of a bunch of dead otherworldly creatures.
Regal implant.
to be a kind of
Por-
thing.
Fullborn.
¿Qué es esa
Grafts
mierda?
themselves are born of a different.
Todo lo de PoE 2 para PoE 1, pero en forma de falopa.
However,
Ya se ocurre en sí. Bien inventario.
Genesis tree can
Está
occasionally
bien,
grow
¿qué
fleshy
significa?
mockeries
Hay
of
que
currency
craftear,
orbs.
dijiste esta liga.
De verdad.
These function like
No, está bien, es para
orbs,
craftearlo.
regal orbs, or exalted orbs, but they work on your grafts instead of normal gear. Yep, it's graft crafting.
Nah.
Allocating this passive can result in foul-born currencies. This foul-born exalted orb, for instance, behaves as a normal exalted orb, except it guarantees a higher tier modifier. By locking out a large portion of the lower rolls, a normal
No.
exalted orb would be able to hit.
3 pajas me acabo de hacer.
Literalmente lo de
The
PoE 2, lo
Genesis
de
tree
PoE 2
is
lo
used
metieron
to
en PoE
grow
1.
rare
Literal.
equipment items. For these, you have a lot of agency to influence the type and modifiers on your grown item. For example, you can specifically target boots with a dexterity requirement, with an increased chance for speed modifiers, and reduced chance for cold modifiers.
Está bien.
Está muy
Or
Ya está en PoE 2, la
maybe
ocurrencia
you
sí.
prefer to look for a two-handed axe with increased chance for physical modifiers. This section of the
Está muy
tree is for
buena.
growing unique items.
Listo, Headhunter todos los días.
Similar to the equipment section, there are
¿Cómo pasé
passives
los
that let
puntos
you
para poner
target
ahí?
growing specific types of uniques
Haciendo derechas.
or rarer uniques.
Con manos equipadas.
Me imagino que en algún momento debe haber un límite o poder
And can
alocar
result
todo.
in some defects.
No sé.
This passive can result in birth uniques becoming foulborn, which mutates one of the existing modifiers on the item into a new one,
¿Esto es una falopa?
resulting in some interesting new ways to use
Les
the
cambio un modificador único.
For example, this foulborn quill rain no longer has increased attack speed, but instead has increased area of effect.
¿Qué carajo?
Another foulborn quill
Parece un
rain
puto
could
Scourge.
replace the mana gained
Es
on hit
Scourge,
with a
literal.
much more powerful
¿Qué
modifier,
¿Qué dije ayer?
where
No
insufficient
mames.
mana doesn't prevent your bow attacks.
¿Qué
Here
carajo?
are some other examples.
No.
Ahí está tu Golrin, mira.
No.
This passive even gives a rare chance
Ah,
for
quiere comprar
foulborn
dólares.
uniques to have multiple different modifiers mutated. I'm sure you'll come up with some extremely powerful uses for these. We'll leave it up to you to discover what this mysterious part of the Genesis tree can grow.
¿Opa?
Hijo de
So,
puta.
La timba, la timba, la
you'll be
timba.
Sí, sí, sí.
monsters, harvesting blood with the aid of your grafts, feeding that to the Genesis tree,
Eso es de Last Tipo.
growing some items,
Era hora que
and
copiaran
more
cosas que
grafts,
están buenas de Last
and
Tipo.
back again to the slaughter. As
¿Las
with
qué?
all our challenge leagues,
Oh, bueno, nomás
this league
hablamos
will
acá.
come
Va.
with a set of 40 challenges to pursue, and
Diablo,
complete
Diablo
the
4,
level of
¿Ya está la liga?
Keeper of the Flame armor set, allowing you to
sale ahora
truly
a las
embrace
5.
becoming a
No,
monk
cara de verga.
and worshipping the dream.
¿Ya está hablando de los challenge?
Now, Graph skills won't be the
Ah, ah.
only new tool
Está la
to
liga.
play with.
Ah, bien.
In 327, we're also adding a collection of new skill and support gems. Let's go over them now. Kinetic Rain is a new wand
¡Eh!
that covers the
Bueno.
ground in
No,
unstable kinetic energy.
Kinetic Rain.
These hazards collapse at the slightest touch.
Mi nueva skill
releasing
favorita.
energies into any unfortunate
Ahí
soul
está.
who happens
Todo
to be
mundo
standing
jugando.
on
Taku, voy a jugar
With
arco.
enough
Mira, el chabón no va a
projectiles
jugar
and area of
varita.
effect, an enterprising
Ey,
exile
esto
could carve
autobomber,
the
¿sabes lo
world
que va a
in
hacer?
dangerous kinetic
Sí, sí,
force.
lo mismo pensé, dije, eso se
Wall
puede
of
hacer
Force creates a
autobomber.
barrier of kinetic power,
Ahí está el
causing
nuevo
allied
arquetipo
projectiles to
de
ricochet towards
Bull
targets
inmortal.
automatically.
What the fuck?
Drop one behind a boss and redirect the bolts of your armies. I'm sure you'll find ways to break this one.
No entendí.
Conflagration is a new bow attack
Opa!
which rains down fiery bolts from above that stick into the ground and pulse as you approach. Once
Explosive
you get
Rain.
close enough,
Literal.
these
Pero
bolts
esas cosas
detonate,
cercas.
causing ravaging ignites.
La otra vez sacaron el
These
Explosive
bolts chain
Concoction,
react,
ahora te sale el
allowing you to
Explosive
create
Rain.
fields of
Literal.
legendary
En
destruction.
esto.
Y mete Ignite. God.
El
Thunderstorm
tema
is a
que
bow
está
attack,
Opa!
cerca.
which creates a whirling storm of wind and lightning where it lands.
Mi nueva habilidad
While
favorita.
you're within the storm, it will rapidly grow until it becomes
Ya va mostrando
violently thunderous
dos
with
skills de
lightning-infused
arco. Kaku
clouds.
está en su salsa.
At this point,
A empezar con Minion y quitear a la segunda semana.
dealing damage to
Ey,
everything within
esto es build
and
de
releasing a
fútbol.
flurry of tornadoes in all directions.
No, esto es good.
Ok, ya vimos que
Attacking
vamos
with
a
kinetic
hacer.
fusillade will
Opa!
create hovering orbs of energy. These linger for a few moments above you before zipping off to near
Volátil
it,
de Spellslinger
between
vibes.
them, then
¿Esta no es la de
detonate.
Poeos?
Living lightning support will
No
bring
tiene
to
pinta
life
que haga
living
mucho daño
sparks
esa
of
porquería.
energy. Elemental minions that zap through packs
Elemental
of enemies
minions,
with
¿eh?
speed and ease.
Pero eso
Use these
para
alongside your
el Haze
spellcasting to
Runner.
augment your pack clearing abilities, or find whatever means possible to cover the world in living sparks
Vas
of ruin.
corriendo y los bichos matan solos, boludo. ¿Cómo que no?
Wind burst support unleashes
eso con la
chaotic
espada.
tornadoes as you attack,
Opa.
which ricochet around wildly and quickly.
Tornado Shot, que dijiste.
These deal moderate
Bueno,
damage as
Tornado
they
Shot.
travel, but will
No,
explode
esto
into a
no,
highly
Shot
damaging
versión
burst when they
Poe 2.
expire. So it's a choice between scaling their duration up to get better coverage, or down to access the
Un
burst.
montón de daño ese Tornado Shot.
Como el bicho. Sí, sí, sí,
Kinetic
no,
Te
no,
digo,
no,
pero
no.
el culeo- y ahora falta que muestren
Gold
arco.
bond attacks that causes enemies slain to leave behind those same orbs of shimmering energy that kinetic rain creates.
Banco.
One might ponder just how many orbs you can create if you were to use both. In 327, exiles will be able to absorb
¿Se ve el
the
tornado
power
shot?
of some of the bosses they defeat.
Aquí, esta.
These take the form of new ascendancy class
Magicfind class, confíen.
bloodlines.
No
Bloodline
melee.
classes are a new means of character
Esto
customization
es
in
como
the endgame.
el
They
modo
are
este raro que
secondary ascendancy
sacaron
classes that are unlocked by defeating specific
durante la muerte
endgame
de Poe
bosses.
1.
They are allocated
Hay que
with your
matar
normal
Jeff.
ascendancy points, and you'll have to choose how many of your points go into the original ascendancy
Qué mal.
and how many into your bloodline class. This
A ver.
means there is a nigh limitless ability to mix and match here, as you could choose to invest just a couple points into your bloodline, or max it out. And you could take any bloodline
No tiene daño,
any
amigo.
base ascendancy class that you see fit. To unlock your bloodline, hunt down the endgame boss whose power you
Tiene que
desire
cantar y no tiene daño.
and defeat them.
Eh,
Or
veslo.
have a friend help and claim
Va.
the power for your own. There are 10 bloodline classes to discover.
No me diga que tengo que matar a
Bosses
Ul.
who offer this power are typically associated with past
No,
leagues,
no.
giving additional
No, no,
reasons
no.
to engage with that league.
La clase de que matar a Ul, boludo, la va a
A
ver
few examples.
mi primo.
The Chaos Bloodline will be offered to you by the Trial Master if you manage to succeed
Right.
his final challenge.
Hijos de puta.
With his blessing,
Trial Master
you can
Bar.
greatly augment your
Este tiene
vow
daño,
skills in
Este
different
tiene
ways.
daño.
Esta es la ult de Rule. Esta
Priest
lo
of
voy a
Yalmak
jugar.
lets you use vow skills much more often, while Priest of Kopek makes it harder to build up vow skills, but makes them far more powerful.
Banco.
Or take
Eso
Corruption's
para
Embrace, which grants more vow
Blade
keystone
Vortex.
powers the
Sí.
more corrupted items you have equipped. The Ashabi
Vuelve a hablar de
Bloodline can be
Vortex.
gained by, you guessed it, defeating Ashabi. Her abilities are drawn from the 3 types of life force that manifest within as Marian spirits. The Wild Bear rewards you with
Rage.
adrenaline for generating rage.
¿Qué?
The Vivid Cat gives your elusive buffs a chance to refresh,
¿Qué?
as well as making you more stealthy while elusive.
Ah. Pero me
The
luce.
Primal Owl allows your unleashed spells to reoccur many additional times, and
El
get
tema es que vos
stronger
acá
for
estás
each time they
sacrificando
reoccur.
puntos de...
Esto es para el vortex.
The nameless bloodline comes
No,
from
no,
the
no
king
estoy
and the
explicando nada.
mists.
¿Cómo se
No.
llama
Sí,
la
sí.
ascendencia,
Sí,
boludo?
sí.
Vos sacrificás
His
puntos de
menacing
ascendencia
power
por
comes at a
Bloodline.
great
Sí, sí, es lo que
cost.
dijo.
Entonces hay que
With
ver.
the unseen hand,
Ring
you can
slot.
equip
¿O
a
no?
third ring.
Listo.
What?
Para
You have
magicfind.
to decide if
Triple
you're
ring de
content
rarity.
of having no amulet, no belt,
Ah, pero hay que sacrificar.
no flasks.
Uy, hay que sacrificar uno de los tres.
Unlike
Era
Silhouette,
joda.
there's a hefty life cost to all your spells. But
No,
they deal
that's
additional
tricky.
chaos damage based on the amount of life spent. Of
¿Qué
course,
carajo,
there
tarado?
is more to come. What powers might you glean from delving deep underneath Rayclass to fight all the Crystal King? What secrets can you
Dijeron,
learn from
nadie quiere
Lycia,
hacer
Herald
la
of the
mina.
Scourge, waiting at
Vamos.
the end of the Forbidden Sanctum?
Nah.
Pero
As you can
mostraros todo,
imagine,
maricón.
there are countless possible combinations with the system. You could be a slayer that embraces corruption and vile power, or perhaps you'll play an occultist that doubles down on their dark power by integrating the nameless bloodline. We are excited to see what
El
crazy
anillo
and
estaba
interesting
retranqui.
builds players come up with.
Imagínate el
In the
anillo,
most
un
recent Path of
triple
Exile 2
anillo
expansion,
mío.
triple.
the Third Edict, we introduced a much anticipated feature, fully asynchronous trade.
Bien.
It was a fantastic success. So now we're excited to announce that we'll also be adding this feature into Path of Exile 1. When you reach
ver, ¿qué
Act
arreglos de
6,
punto le
you'll be
metieron?
able to find
Acto 6, acto
Faustus
6.
in Lionized
Bueno,
Watch.
Acto 6 a la media hora de stream.
He just operated the currency exchange. Now, he will also act as a steward for your merchants tabs.
Está rechiteado
These are
ese.
where you can place items for sale, for direct and instant purchase by other players even when you're not online. To list an item, simply place it in the tab and select a currency
Ponía un Nimis.
and an
Me
amount.
encanta que lo explican como si hay gente de PoE 1 que no ve nada de PoE 2.
Once listed,
Lo hay.
other players will be able to find the item
Hay
by
gente que no
searching
juega
for it
PoE
via
2.
the trade website or
I
the
love
new
Luxi.
in-game market search. To purchase something for yourself, it's as easy as hitting this button, which will teleport you to the seller's hideout.
No, por eso,
where you can
Luquín. Yo
view
sé que hay
their
gente que lo
merchants
hay.
tabs, buy the item, and also view the rest of their wares in case something
Oh,
else catches your
míralo.
eye.
26
Every
cada
purchase
oro.
costs a small fee of gold, as Faustus takes his cut. To account for this further drain on gold, acquisition and cost balance elsewhere in the game has been adjusted. Anything you've managed to sell successfully will have your profits collected here, in a separate tab to claim at your leisure.
Ya.
To be clear,
Acto 6,
previous
habla
means
con
of
Fausto y
trading,
te va
such
derecho
as
a Hate.
via pre-existing premium stash tabs and the website, will still function just as before. Merchants tabs and the asynchronous trading that comes with them are an entirely additive feature on top of the already existing methods to trade.
Son un meme tan loco.
You might find yourself needing the trade system to buy some upgrades, because this update also introduces 3 new Uber Pinnacle boss fights.
3.
These encounters are manifested from the memories of Zana, and in her long torment, they have festered
Ah,
into
dejaron lo de la
something
liga
truly
pasada.
deadly.
Sí, sí, sí.
Es que
Dijeron que
era
era
una
canon.
expansión.
These fights offer an
claro.
imposing
Entonces, ¿para qué lo
challenge
anuncian como algo nuevo?
alongside powerful rewards.
No los matamos
Porque
ayer.
porque los
In
volvieron
order to
Ubers.
gain access,
Ah, claro.
similar to existing Uber Pinnacle fights, you'll need to discover fragments dropped by Tier 17 map bosses. Each attempt at the new
No sé si voy a jugar arco, boludo. Hay muchos voces.
of these. Let's dig into some
No,
of the
yo creo que no,
challenges you'll need to
no.
face in these new Uber
No, los
versions.
fragmentos de memoria ahora
¿Sabes cuál
son
es el tema?
en...
In the original
Ah,
incarnation of Neglect Fight,
que, por ejemplo,
the
para la nueva
statues can be
ascendencia,
used to block
básicamente
the
tienes que
laser
hacer
beams to
voces.
hide behind,
Sí.
giving you an opportunity to
A
avoid
ver,
being
nada que no
shot,
se pueda apagar ese
frozen,
capo.
or killed.
Capaz que nos hacemos Poison Concoction para ser jefe de temprano.
You to reposition them. While activated,
Y después
they will
switchar a
not
dos
stop
a
the
arco.
lasers, meaning you want to position them well,
O no.
then avoid them. However, in the Uber version of this fight, instead of being a safe haven, the statues will refract the laser beams, causing a ruckus of energy to cover the arena. Activating them will prevent the refraction. So unlike the base fight, where you want to position them well and then avoid them,
No, estás re loco, amigo.
wanting to constantly keep these statues
No, juego arco nomás, boludo.
then you have to deal with their assaultive attacks.
¿Cuánto sale el carry?
While fighting the
3
incarnation,
mirros.
Joder.
these fiery orbs will
Viendo
slowly
carries,
clutter up the
amigos, por
arena,
intento.
locking off
No está
portions of
asegurado.
it until you bait the boss into detonating them himself with his thrown spear.
Lol.
When Uberified, These orbs are attached by a flaming
Ah, se le framea todo el juego, boludo. Imagínate a nosotros. Mirá, mirá, mirá.
More and more will spawn as the fight goes on, making it even more imperative that you clean them up by cleverly using the
Tipo, te
boss's
muestran el
abilities
gol y
against
después
them.
sale algún enfermito que gasta 27 mirro en algo que si lo tocas se muere, pero entra y lo desaparece a los
You
bichos.
have to acquire a red rose.
Menos
right next to
ese
the
fue
boss,
hacer una banda,
then
bicho
collect a
culiao.
blue rose, doing the same, causing it to get heavy stunned and interrupting its mechanic. In the Uber version, you have to do the same, but in order to get the blue rose, you have to defeat the incarnation of neglect.
No.
And to get the red rose,
Inmatable es esta mierda.
good luck.
Ok. Que,
Dijeron, los
While the
hicimos muy
difficulty
fácil
of
la
these
season
bosses,
pasada.
their
Vamos a
reward
subir la
should be worth
dificultad.
your while.
que un tramper
Dijeron-
no
Take a look at
es
some.
una mala idea,
Dijeron, bueno, vamos
From
a
the
hacer
Uber
un
incarnation of
Firet, pero de
neglect
estos
fight,
bichos.
we have
¿Va?
Bitter Instinct, a spiky shield that turns retaliatory strikes
Retaliation.
into
¿Quién
preemptive
pija juega
ones,
con Retaliation?
making it just a matter of time before the long arm of
Un
justice
seguito,
crushes your
literal.
foes. Alternatively, you
Mirá,
might find
mirá.
festering resentment, a poisoned blade
Soco
with
de
an
un block.
unending supply of toxins built into the hilt.
Mirá, vuelve Ciclón.
These toxins are put to good use,
Ciclón
causing
a
every
Poison.
spell you trigger to be capable of poisoning with all damage it deals,
Y ahora son campe, boludo.
enabling a truly crazy trigger-centric poison ruckus. And from the Uber incarnation of Dread, the Hallowed Monarch, a counterpart to the Dark Monarch, which focuses more
Headhunter
heavily
para
on investing
minions.
into one or a few minions, rather than growing your hordes
¡Qué
to massive proportions.
Creo que Hunter para mí,
Storm
boludo.
Rayclast, with your chosen few at your side, stealing power from your enemies as you go.
Nos hacemos minion con arco que maten jefe.
We've got a number of quality of life changes to bring to 327 as well.
A ver.
¿Hace algo nuevo?
You've seen already in some of our
Campaign Speed.
pre-livestream teasers.
Campaign
For
Speed.
those who haven't,
No
Heist is a
creo.
mechanic which has
Ah, esto ya lo
long
vimos.
frustrated some players who
No,
may
pero no.
otherwise have been interested
Capaz que hay
in
alguna nueva,
what
pará.
it has to offer, but have no desire to grind through the early progress of finding
More currency
and
drops.
mining
No, eso no va a
low-level
pasar nunca,
contracts to get all of the rogues to their maximum level.
No dijo nada de magicfind, amigo. Mal
Well,
ahí.
starting in 327, heist rogues will automatically begin at maximum level, so you can start your dubious criminal career without all the busy work. Points invested into your Atlas passive tree will now be refundable with gold.
Lo mejor de la liga.
To do so.
Oh,
For players who love jumping between strategies,
bien.
there's also an option to instantly refund
Lo
your
mejor de la
entire
liga.
tree.
Piensen que vamos a tener brecha a todos los mapas. O sea, mapear va a estar God también. Nos hacemos
Now
arco.
you can make all your decisions with no regrets. Well,
O sea,
maybe
Brecha
some
de-
brecha y beyond. Brecha y beyond.
You
Este
no
es otro
longer
juego del que
need to
recuerdo. Y sí.
purchase bestiary orbs.
Muchos años
You can
estos,
now
querido.
itemize beasts for free directly from your bestiary.
¿Cuál fue la última día que jugaste,
You
Festo?
can now mass identify your items at an NPC in every town, and from Helena in your hideout.
Bueno, algo que no
This does
supiéramos.
not require scrolls of wisdom.
Esto es
added.
algo que me parece inútil, con lo mejor. Solo para los actos,
While
nada más.
using an alteration orb,
Esto es muy bueno.
you can now hold Alt to swap to using an augmentation orb.
Yo que crafteo todo el día con el Alteration fuera de stream.
Opening a blight chest will now
Esto lo
open
estábamos pidiendo hace
all other
años.
blight chests near it. Rogue's disenchanting services can
Esto sí
now
está
be
bueno,
accessed
te ahorra
from
un montón.
towns and hideouts.
3 años
Ahora
casi.
vimos todo, ahora mostrame
Kerak
algo bueno.
missions now have a handy icon to show at a glance what
Mostrame
kind of mission
Campaign
they are.
Speed, vamos.
No va a pasar.
Holding down control and right-clicking on stacked decks
Esto es
will
God.
now
Porque
continuously
pudieron haber
open them to your inventory,
Esto es God.
notifying you in chat what the outcome
¿Cuánta
is.
cantidad
If you still
de
want to
stacked
open
decks
them
se van a
direct
sacar
to
ahora
the
si
account,
tenemos brecha a
to
todos los
let your
mapas gratis y
filter
toda
provide a
falopa?
dose of dopamine, you can
Con los
still do that
escarabajos.
too by also
La
holding
cantidad
shift.
Ah, igual,
de que
no dije
vamos a
nada,
abrir,
no
digamos.
dije
No
nada.
hay escarabajos de
Vault
derecha
orbs
porque
can
sacaron
be used
brecha.
on
No,
monsters
no, pero hay
and passive
escarabajo de
licenses,
coso.
to the same
No dije nada.
effect that remnants of
Agregan
corruption have.
monstruos, no dije nada.
Vean.
When multiple skill
Opa.
gems are ready to level at the same time, you'll now be able to click
Esto es
this
muy bueno.
button to level them
Mira,
all
uy,
up at once.
eso es lo mejor.
Eso para cuando estemos en el
Next
Fireway.
up, we're going to be talking about our
Nah,
new
¿ya
support
está?
decks.
¡Eso lo más!
¿Y el campaign skip?
We're launching 2 new series of
campaign
support
skip.
decks.
¡Qué bueno!
Champion of Theopolis
Está lindo ese.
and the
¿Me lo
Verdant
compro?
Magus packs.
What?
Each tier contains
Se
the
muere la
pack's full
PC.
face value
Esto es
in
PoE 2,
points,
boludo.
alongside several exclusive
Espero en el
microtransactions.
próximo día nomás para Luquín.
As always, The microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do
El
not
skin del
affect your
cornudo.
character's power or progression in
Si
any
te
way.
barrieron esta última semana,
The
comprate el
Champion
skin.
of Theopolis series of supporter packs
¿Cómo?
Ese
contains
portal está muy
6
lindo,
exclusive microtransactions.
Amigo, el portal está hermoso.
Manifest a champion's ferocity. As
Oh.
the Lion's Might unique
No, va a
finisher
salir
effect
$100 el
rips your
portal
enemies to
pijas.
shreds.
Me tiran en game, sí, amigo. Una colaboración.
Open the Champion of Theopolis portal to end your crusade through maps in the style
Eso está bueno.
expected of a true victor of the arena.
Leisen va a sortear 5 pacotes de
Your
$60.
enemies like a true gladiator, wearing the Grand Champion of
Tanta
Theopolis
fachera,
armor
te
set.
quiero decir.
The armor awarded only to the most elite warriors of the Grand Arena. Take charge of the situation and storm into combat.
Esa
with
cosa
the
no lo puedo
Flaming
decir.
Minotaur's Quicksilver Flask
Esa madre
effect.
no hay forma de utilizarla hoy.
No,
The
horrible.
Champion's Podium map device
Esto es
rises up to honor the glory of achieved
No,
as you activate. Ascend the stairs and stand atop the platform as you enter your
Voy a comprar
moves.
cajitas hasta que
Each
salgan
flame
algunas
surrounding the
cajas. boludo.
platform
Hasta que salga una skin roja.
remaining use on your
En
pole.
counter.
Eso
The
para los que hagan
burden-back
carry,
bodyguard
boludo.
Opa.
se meten
carries all
5
the
o 6
supplies
personas en el
necessary
mapa.
for a campsite as he travels behind you
Mira,
in battle.
la pet que levanta currency.
Messi,
When
en la skin
placed
de
in a
Messi.
hideout, instead of roaming around like your other pets, their supplies are deployed, creating a small camp where you can access your stash and providing a place to take a load off while you rest next to the campfire.
¿Eh?
No es cierto.
The Verdant Magus series contains 6 exclusive
para los mapas igual.
microtransactions. Having Faustus sell your items on
¿Estás
your
seguro de
behalf
eso?
is great and all.
Una decoración de
Sometimes you
hideout.
feel a little bit more shady about your dealings. The back alley trader hideout decoration is more secretive with your trades, creating distance between you and your customers. Note that until 327 is released, this back alley trader will only serve as your currency exchange. Once it's out, it will be updated to have the new managed shop option to also facilitate your trades. The Verdant Wayfinder pet is a loyal companion to any
Ay,
master
Dios, qué
magus.
palopero de mierda.
Banco la puertita esa
As you
igual,
approach waypoints, it envelops them with its vines, guiding you throughout Rayclast.
No, 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 no.
Te guía los waypoints.
Control Earth and nature itself, as the great
Imagina.
Verdant Magus armor set envelops
qué
you in
bueno
the
el
ancient
set,
power
boludo.
now lost to time. There's
Me encanta.
also a matching back
Es
attachment.
muy
with
Harvest igual, pero está bueno. Ah, eso es una
Remnants of
falopa.
the
Eso
forest
explota la
ripple
PC,
out
subí de
from
niveles y
within
te
you
congela el
with
juego.
Verdant Magus level up effect equipped, restoring life to the corrupted land. Call on an ancient golem to use their power to create a safe passage for you to retreat through with the arcane golem
Es
portal.
mucho, $90, boludo.
Sí,
Hermoso, pero
As
mucho,
a supreme
$90.
verdant magus, you can travel to your arcane isle hideout.
Ah, ese hideout está god, no me joda.
Islands, held together by ancient magic,
No me
passed
joda.
down between elite mages.
El de
Y
la
adivinen
tortuga,
que todo esto va a estar
Stand
un
atop your
50%
tower
de
and
cuenta.
relish the great
¿Sabes
heights
qué?
you've reached above those who have not
Te puede
harnessed the
castear con
arcane.
5 hideouts de tier más abajo.
These packs are
Ese
now
parece-
available
ese
for
parece
purchase
la
on
zona
both
final de las
PC
épocas,
and
ese sí
console,
parece la zona
and will
final.
remain
Es
so
verdad.
during Path of Exile, Keepers of the Flame. Additionally, any microtransactions from these supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 2.
Muy bien.
Meanwhile, the
Ese.
Crypt Keeper and Frisian Magistrate packs leave the store forever at the launch of the Keepers of the Flame League. So now's your last chance to purchase them. Thank you so much for your ongoing support.
Es fácil.
We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards,
Bueno.
we'll post the full patch notes for Path of Exile,
Felicidades.
Keepers of the Flame, at 11 a.m. New Zealand time,
A ver.
3 p.m. Pacific.
Bufearon Ciclón, pero
With
no
release
bufearon
at
Arc.
the end of next week, our
Me dejas
community
ahora
team will be
poco.
posting crucial information you'll need for the release. Keep an eye on the
Pasa que
news.
pasaron 8 meses, amigo.
Thanks for joining
O sea,
us
tampoco
today
pasó
and
tanto
checking
tiempo.
out our latest developments. We're looking forward to
Como 8
holding off
meses.
the Breach Lord's conquest,
Y sí, 4 de que
crafting
salió y
gruesome
4
grafts,
después, 8
planning
meses. ¿no?
dozens of bloodline empowered builds, and filling out our trees tree. We hope you all
Bien.
Ya duró 4 meses. Ah, no, está bien.
No, no, menos,
No,
boludo.
dije nada. En un cumple, en un cumple.
Ah, esto ya lo vimos, la historia de brecha, no sé qué. Quiero parar en los puntos más interesantes. Como por ejemplo, esto para mí va a ser lo más divertido de la liga. Esto va a ser lo más divertido de la liga, de tener un Headhunter con un modificador que te dé... No sé qué te puede dar.
¿Qué?
Pero
Así que eso es lo que voy.
Boludo, va a ser tremenda gamba eso, de todas formas.
Eso va a estar muy divertido.
como todo.
Imagínate que te pones un Meshlot y te quita el modificador de que
Bueno.
los flascos quedan perma. Ahí va.
No, igual por lo que aparece en esta imagen son mensajes, son modificadores que tienen que ver con el modificador que sacó. En este caso cambió la resistencia. En este caso, en vez de tener ¿cómo se llama el otro coso? Da Elemental Overload. Es como que tiene que ver. Y no hay otro modificador parecido al del Major, entonces no lo cambiaría. Yo creo que en el caso de que no creo que podamos poner un ítem y cambiarlo. Por lo que tengo entendido, te tira un ítem ya Foulborn. Si te llega a caer un Major de un Headhunter, te va a cambiar los atributos, seguramente. O la resistencia, nada más.
Iba a decir, pero eso estaría bueno, porque por ejemplo, o sea, no sé, campeones que por ejemplo no se beneficien del Strange o que
Por eso.
realmente el Strange ya, o sea, que les salga otro atributo, va a ser muy bueno.
Kinetic Rain me encantó, boludo. Increase en relation to spell damage, also apply to attack damage, or heal. Esto está igual que antes, igual que los otros Kinetic. Kinetic Anomaly. Esto está de más, boludo. Nos hacemos una boss killer con arco, con Kinetic Rain. Ganar los modos raro, pero por 10 minutos. Cuando salí de la instancia no se te van los mods. Ese es el nuevo modo de Headhunter. Esto me parece una falopa. An affected by curses can use amulets. Ah, claro, o sea, no es que solamente te saca los cosos, te da algo a cambio. No te pueden meter poison,
Sí.
no puedes usar utility flask. No puedo usar amuleto, pero no las cursos no affected. Yo si me preguntás, siendo magicfind, sacaría el amuleto. A no ser que ya tengas el simplex todo falopa, ¿no? Pero en early, 3 anillos full falopero. No es mala, ¿eh?
Es que por ejemplo, o sea, imagínate que con los anillos sacas 2-3 anillos y te capeas de resistencias cagado de la risa al inicio.
Y lleno de rarity. Zap.
Ujú.
Me parece que está muy OP esto, boludo. Así que los traigo, ya lo vimos. Esto me parece. Esto, mirá, Campe, hacete tu ciclón.
Sí.
Ciclón acá. Espero que startees con ciclón, porque lloraste por el ciclón ayer.
Ciclón,
Igual no hay
Ciclón
forma, no hay
Champion
forma, boludo.
Poison.
Eso, escuchá, ese drop de Uber Boss. O sea, hasta que no esté por lo menos 5 Divine, no pienso hacer.
No, pero en
¿Sabes
el
qué?
día 2 lo
No,
sacás
no va a
vos.
sacar.
Yo siempre me
No,
hago como
no,
7
no.
personajes, así que no hay apuro.
No, igual campeón, no creo que esos ítems vayan a ser tan caros por el hecho de que, o sea, por más que hayan revivido Ciclón, ¿quién va a jugar Ciclón con los skills que sacaron, güey? ¿Estás consciente?
Que no.
O sea, está
Eso es
bien que
verdad.
funcione y todo, sí
No
va a
sé,
haber
yo
gente que lo va a utilizar, pero
E
hay
igual,
skills muy buenos
Bueno,
como para jugarlos.
el enfermito de Miracle ya está pensando cómo hacer funcionar a Blondel si no la nerfean. Todavía no publicaron los
No
Ah, hay que
publicaron
ver
los parches.
las partes.
Después del Q&A están los parches. Igual quiero que sepan una cosa. Me da sabor a poco igual el lanzamiento.
A mí me da sabor a poco el Q&A, los Quality of Life.
Absolutely. I
Faltó
mean,
el...
it helps with everything, right? It helps with the
campaña.
players
Es
just
que,
feeling the
¿sabes qué
consistency.
pasa?
It
Que
helps
el
with,
último que
like,
tuvimos
developers.
fue una expansión,
It's
amigo,
just
por eso no
overall,
vas ahora
like,
poco.
a way better state to be in.
Faltan como
pero, ¿sabes?
3 ligas para que...
Ellos se refirieron a este parche como expansión. Escuchalo.
No.
Sí, lee, mirá. Mirá. Más temprano, hace unos días, hablaban de la expansión nueva, mirá. Esto no. Esto no, concha de tu madre.
I mean, I would say personally,
When the 3.27 expansion launch.
Expansion.
No me digan expansion, si no van a hacer expansion. Pasó, maldito Hong.
¿Sabes qué es lo que yo creo? O sea, ¿por qué sentimos que no es tan grande? Por el hecho de que es una mecánica que ya existía.
No, y aparte de que es un refrito de todo lo que han tenido. Meten Scourge, brecha y gamba. Ya está, todo en la licuadora,
Pero, por
liga nueva.
ejemplo, pero el
eso
tema es que
significa
está
que conocen
bueno.
bien a los jugadores después de uno.
Claro,
Eso iba a
sape.
decir, porque Scorch es lo que yo le estaba diciendo a Campe justamente ayer, ¿no? Que Scorch fue una locura la cantidad de únicos que tenías que comprar y estar cambiando para intentar sacar algo chingón, o sea, algo que se funcione.
Exactamente.
Pero si la gente realmente hubo mercado de únicos en Scorch, brutal. O sea, la gente compraba 20 únicos del mismo para sacar algo.
Pero en este caso es un crafteo de único. No metes el único y sacás un único con otro modo. Vos armás el árbol y cuando llegás a cierta cantidad de juguito de árbol le pedís al árbol que te dé un único con eso. Y tenés chance de que salga de la liga. No es como Scorch. Porque mirá, ¿dónde está? ¿Dónde está?
¿Con qué
qué
podemos
paja.
hacer? O sea, a ver, yo había pensado esta liga, era o Phantom